Ms. Bresch, I just wanted to try to get inside the mind of a large drug company CEO for a minute. When did you guys sit down and decide after 2008 you acquired the EpiPen? When did you decide to use this model of price increase, and how did you come to that decision?
It was first recognizing the fact that there's a severe, shockingly low understanding of anaphylaxis, and there was a shockingly low number of people who were prepared or protected with EpiPen.
So you decided you should raise the price?
No, sir. We committed to investing in this product, which we have about over $1 billion over this 8 years to provide access.
Okay, and how much have you made over 8 years?
It is absolutely our largest product. But
no, I just said how much have you made? You said you invested $1 billion. You know how much you invested. How much did you make?
I don't have the cumulative number.
So you know what you spent. Okay. Do you think that you were charging too much? Do you think $600 is too much? Or were you going to keep rising the price?
Sir, which is why we took the unprecedented action of putting the generic in at $300.
No, okay. No, we're not going to. We'll get to that. But did you plan on increasing the price in 2017?
No, sir, we did not plan on
Okay, but you did have a plan then to raise it every year for 5 or 6 years?
And if you look at what we received out of that money,
I just asked you a question. Did you have a plan to raise the price every year for 6 years?
We have raised the price. We have raised the price, and I think managing to what we received, that 274 out of the 608, is what we were managing.
So, you're obviously proud of your company. You think that was fair then to raise the price each year to that point, even though you got a drug at $100, which was probably too much for the drug considering what the cost is. I know you made a fancy clicker because I had one of your reps come by my office back in 2009 or 10 show me how to use it. So I know that cost a little bit of money. But generally when a drug goes to generic, doesn't the price go down?
Which is why we dropped it to $300.
Only after you jacked it up to $600. It's like if I go buy this tie and they say it's $600, but we're going to sell it to me for $300, that doesn't make it worth $300. You fixed the price on the drug, and now you know. When did you know you were going to release the generic?
We announced it several weeks ago. Okay,
but when did you know as a company? I mean, you knew it was coming. You got a gentleman sitting next to you. It takes months, maybe years.
No, sir. We're putting an authorized generic in the market, which is equivalent to
Okay, so we're supposed to feel good because you've taken a drug that you're overcharging 6 times what it's worth, and you're going to drop the price to $300.
Sir, we were receiving 274 out of the 608.
Do you think you were charging too much at $600?
Sir, we believe it was a fair price, and we've just now lowered that price by half.
Why'd you lower it by half if you thought it was fair? If you thought it was fair, leave it where it's at.
Because we wanted to make sure we're addressing the patients out there that are facing higher out-of-pocket cost and paying the wholesale acquisition cost, which was not intended. The system wasn't intended for people to pay the wholesale acquisition cost, and that's what's happening at an alarmingly rising rate, which is we took the unprecedented step of putting the generic in to sidestep that and be able to lower the cost.
You're doing everyone a favor by charging 3 times what you acquired the drug for as a generic. You're trying to make us feel good about that. I just don't. I mean, I'm not buying your argument.
And, sir,
do you have a guilty conscience about any of this?
Over that period of time, putting it in public places, giving free 700,000 free EpiPens to 66,000 schools and wanting to get it into all of the public schools across America.
Well, if it costs $20, they could afford to buy their own. You wouldn't have to give them to them. But instead, you chose to jack the prices up and then somehow make everyone want to feel good about you by saying how much you do. Bottom line is you took a very inexpensive drug and you profited handsomely off it. And I don't have a problem, like a lot of my colleagues, that you can make money in a free market enterprise. But what I do have a problem with as a physician, when you take drugs that are life-saving drugs and people don't have a choice. They can't go to a different department store to get their tie. They have to have that drug because a mother would cut off her right arm to get that dose of drug. You decided to charge $600 instead of cutting off her arm, and now you're saying you're dropping it to $300, and that should make us all feel better, when in fact that's probably about 10 times what the drug should cost. And I understand you got to make some money, but you can really sit there with a clear conscience today and say that that's okay, and you just decided because you're such a good company to cut the price from $600 to $300? I mean, is that your testimony?
Congressman, we want everyone who needs an EpiPen to have an EpiPen, and we're going to continue to
lower the price so they can afford
access.
Are you going to lower the price so other people can afford
We
it?
believe that all the programs that we put in place, from the generic to the higher patient assistant program to the copay card, so trying to address every facet of patient to make sure they can have access to EpiPens is what we will remain focused on.